Hello, good morning. Welcome to New Forest Morphs. Jared is joining me this morning. Thank you, Jared, for coming in today. And you've done a wonderful job because one or two of our viewers are noticing that our sub-adult racks have been a little bit stiff in places. And we did a self-build, 5-6 years ago on those racks, Jared?
Mm-hmm.
And the problem that we've learned is that when you build them yourself, if you build them too wide, they can start to warp. So, Jared, what was the solution that you came up with to get those sorted out?
I cut some dividers to go in the middle of the four, so it sort of stops the bowing.
Yeah, and we'll just show you what we mean here, because this is really what he's done. Is he's put in these extra supports all the way down. So originally we had 4, and now if you look how easy these slide now, there's no problem with sliding, and that makes feeding, cleaning, maintaining your animals so much better all the way down. And you've supported it all the way down on both sides, and also because we couldn't use the 4 rubs at the bottom because the bone was that bad, we can now use them, and they slide out okay, Jared? So that's given us extra space. We do have a few more animals to come, so Jared is going to build another one of these racks as well, so we'll have another set of racks coming, and that will be it for our season. We've shut down one of the incubators now, and we've got everything in one incubator. So we've got just 2 eggs, which is the Exantic Super Pastel Exantic Clown Clutch with 2 eggs. The odds are 1 out of 16. If 2 eggs do go to maturity, we've got a 1 in 8 chance of hitting our dream snake. But you never can tell with this hobby. It's all fun, but we are taking a bit of a gamble. But Clutch 28, which is one snake that came out, has come out of the egg, and we've just set it up in the rub, Jared. This is an urban camo. Well, we thought it looks like an urban camo, but have a look at it under the spotlight, Jared, and just tell me what you think's going on there.
It's definitely pastel, and it's definitely cinnamon and pied.
So we think it's a pastel cinnamon pied, but it might have something else going on, because I don't think we've seen one quite like that before, have we?
No.
But it does look like the urban camo.
Similar.
And one of our viewers made a comment, Jared, with the urban camo. He was saying that in his opinion, I think he said it's got super cinnamon, and it's got another gene in it. I think it's called Sandblast. Now Jared went to have a look at what Sandblast looks like. If you look at the Sandblast, Jared, it looks very pastel-y, doesn't it?
Yeah. And
today's video is all about discussing genes that don't actually look brilliant, but when you mix them with other genes, they can really pop. And I think Sandblast is one of those. It's a co-dominant gene, and if you mix it with a super cinnamon, now your super cinnamon girl, Jared, has just literally shed out, and we can bring her out and show you what she looks like. If we were to mix her, say we were to buy a Sandblast, Jared, which they're not that expensive, I don't think.
You want to buy a cinnamon Sandblast to get the super though.
Yeah. So if we get Shadow out at the moment, I'll bring her out.
You can leave her tub there, she's really chill.
Okay.
Or not.
I'll bring it, no, so I'll just bring it to here. So this is our super cinnamon girl. She just shed out. She does look lovely. And she's a really, really pretty girl. She gave us our first clutch. Unfortunately, none of the eggs made it. So clutch number 1 never actually got into the hatchling racks because the eggs didn't make it.
And she's puppy dog tame as well.
She really is. And we've had our grandchildren in this morning, and they've been handing her. And so that's your super cinnamon. So you can see the super cinnamon. This one's het for pied. You see the pied marker on there, Jared, and it creates these gold marks as well. I think it's really, really pretty. But when you create a super cinnamon, there was always a risk that you get kinking and you get what they call duck billing. So if you look at her, she's got a little bit of duck billing, but nothing major.
She hasn't even got, what it is there's white. So if you look closely,
let
me zoom in, you can see it looks like duck billing, but it's not. She's just got white patches under her eyes that make it suck in. I think that she's very normal.
I think what we'll do is we'll put Bowser to her again. That was what we're trying to get. We're trying to get the cinnamon into the Dreamsicle project, and we'll discuss about what our thoughts are and plans are on the Dreamsicle project. And it's all talking about future projects and how to make the right decisions at the early stages. I think a lot of us as breeders, we kind of get into this and we think, you know, my budget will only stretch to this, I've got a learning curve, I don't want to commit to some serious money in case I get it wrong. And I think most of us do that, and that's a wise thing to do. But I think with hindsight, when we look back, we're thinking to ourselves, if only I bought a slightly more expensive male with extra genetics, that will then further my projects down the line. And we're going to discuss that today. But let's just put this girl back, and I think what we'll do now is I want to discuss. There's a couple of things, Jared, that we were going to discuss, wasn't it? And one of them was giving a discussion about the recent genetic revelation that we received from Rare Genetics. Justin Gabalka was on the show yesterday with Rare Genetics, and he gave them some shed testing to do, which was on the Puzzle Clown project. And I think everyone that's in that project is really keen to see what a visual puzzle clown looks like. Turns out with genetic testing that Justin has already hit that, but the impact of the puzzle and the clown gave it an extra orange tint and gave it a het appearance, and he thought he was selling hets to some of his customers, and it turned out when they had theirs shed tested, they've actually got a double genetic on it. So, you know, when you put together two wonderful genes like clown and puzzle, you hope and pray that it will come out beautiful. It doesn't always come out as you expect, and this is part of the interest of the hobby. And what Justin was saying is saying, even though it maybe doesn't look as impactful as he wanted it to look like, he thinks he's now got to put in another codominant gene or another gene in there to get the whole thing to pop. So that'll be an interesting one to see where that goes. And people have heavily invested in puzzle and clown. But this is the benefit of having genetic testing. You can send in a shed test and you can work out what your animals are carrying, even if they don't necessarily look like what you were expecting to look like, if you see what I'm saying. So that's good. The other person that I wanted to give a shout out to was actually Will and Aldra at Flawless Exotics, and they've got a new business they've started up on the ball python side. It's only been running their second season of producing clutches, and he's hitting some amazing animals that really inspired me to make this video. And he's in a similar project to us. He's in the Ultramel Pie project, but he's also adding Hypo, Orange Dream, Leopard, and I think he's got some beautiful examples of what they look like. He invested, I think, a couple of years back with Aussie and bought a couple of really high-end snakes from Aussie, spent some serious money to do that. But he's grown on the female, grown on the males, put them together, produced, I think, a 6-egg clutch, and the animals speak for themselves. So I'll just give Will and Aldra a shout out. I've got the video to show you, but I just wanted Jared to see what you can do by mixing in the codoms with your double recessives, and I think it's very important to get it right. And let me just share some of the examples of what Will's hit, Jared, and you'll see what we mean here. I always do this. So here we go. Let's see if I can get this to play.
Double head, Hypo, Ultramel. The glow is unreal. Actually, let's do it side by side if they'll cooperate with me. Difference between the two: leopard here, no leopard here. Leopard here, no leopard here. I absolutely love the high pattern pies. For me, it helps as a new breeder. Really helps us with identification. Maybe we will get better the longer we're doing it, but for me, I really love the high pattern, which is why we have Dad that has the high pattern. So very happy, very pleased. And this little one is, ooh, this is a female. So, let's see what happens with the rest of the clutches, but, you know, we will have some things that hit the market. You know, I mean, if we have Ultramel, Pod, Hypo combo females, you know, out up to the ceiling, I mean, there really would be no reason to keep this girl, but you never know. We do tend to hoard females, but this female will be pretty much on par with some of the stuff, and I'm not making a comparison, but it'll be on par with some of the stuff, if not more genes than some of the stuff where Ozzy is putting out there, and all of this comes from his line, stems from him. So big shout out to Ozzy. he allowed us, it was very, very pricey, but it allowed us to at least get our foot in the game and try to do our own little thing. Love it. Okay, so now check out this one. And it's like deja vu, because you guys have seen this in the last What's in the Box. So now what you're looking at here is Inchy, Orange Dream, Leopard, Ultramel, Pod, Het Hypo. Crazy. And this one here. Oh my gosh. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. This is a female. See, this is what I was just talking about. So when we do the What's in the Box, obviously you see that the snakes are already just in the totes. We're able to see them before the video, but we don't sex them. So we sex them so you can get our first response on camera. Our positive ones and our disappointing ones. But check out this beautiful girl who will most likely be staying here with her siblings.
Okay, Jared, I think that'll do us for now on that one.
Amazing snakes there.
I tell you, he's hitting some incredible snakes, Jared, and this is his second season producing animals in his facility. So I think Will and Aldra are actually going for the higher end market, and they are building good relationships with lots of top breeders like Aussie, who produces wonderful orange dreams, high intensity orange dreams, and you can see that investment will pay back dividends later. Notice that he's holding back most of his girls, so there's a strategy here as you build your collection to hold back the girls. Why do you think people do hold back girls, Jared? What's the rationale for that?
Well, they're the money makers. That's where all the eggs come from.
Yeah.
So if you've got more girls, you get more babies.
More eggs, and I think big mature females, like for example here we've got a dream school girl that we're going to hold on to. She's produced the blackhead lavender clutch for us. She's looking beautiful even as a 4-year-old. It's got a Justin Gabelka line in her, and you can see the lavenders still hold beautifully as they mature, and we can do some wonderful things with her, because if we end up finding that some of our boys on the new hatchings we've got with the blackhead are in there, we can actually put the blackhead lavender albinos that are het for pied to her and produce blackhead dreamsicles. Now Justin Gabelka put out a couple of videos on his 20th anniversary, Jared, where he was talking about how important it is to layer up the genetics. So I had a look at one of his videos last night just to kind of remind myself. I think it's important to view other people's videos to get inspiration, ideas and thoughts, and to watch Instagram as well, because Jared, you've got quite an active role in Instagram, haven't you? You're posting regularly and you're looking what other people are doing, and it's important to share and like one another's projects as part of building the community. But I think a lot of inspiration comes off Instagram and Facebook as well, doesn't it, Jared?
Yeah.
And when you see an animal that just pops, you think to yourself, what's in that animal? And it makes you think about what your projects are, what you'd like to do and how you'd like to go. So I think it's important to kind of enjoy the eye candy on this journey, because I think it's only going to get better and better and better. So Justin put in like Enchi, Orange Dream, Yellow Belly into the Dream School project. Now if you look carefully what we've done with Bowser, we've put Bowser to quite a few girls with different genetics. So we're going to have like Cinnamon, we're going to have Pastel, we're going to have Blackhead, we're going to have lots of different genes including Clown, because we've got Bowser going to the Clown Pied girl, and therefore we've got 5 or 6 codoms already feeding into the project. Now it would be lovely to have all 6 genes into one animal. The reality is you produce with your one stud boy, which is Bowser, Dream School boy, you plug them into your multi codom girls to produce the double hets or the visual single hets. And then when if they're males, it only takes a year, Jared, that you can then plug them into the big female girl that we've got, because you can't plug them into a high-end boy. That's why the importance of having females is that when you get your next offspring, you can plug them into the double recessive girls that you've got. This is why Will is holding on to all his girls, because he's probably got 5 or 6 other projects with different males he wants to plug into each of those individual girls to produce extra codoms and then bring the whole thing together into this incredible quad or even 5 recessive genes. Imagine, Jad. But I think we're going to get to the point that when we start to hit triples visuals and quad visuals, the importance of those codoms are going to be very important going forward, Jad, because it takes a long time to hit a quad from scratch. It could take 20 years to hit a quad from scratch. But if you've got breeders that are letting you buy into their projects, like we're going to be making available some of our projects, which has put in 6 years of effort. So new breeders coming in, if they're prepared to pay the right money, can buy into projects and advance themselves. And this is why new breeders can come in and actually, like Will, only been doing it a couple of years, is producing some amazing stuff that even some of the top breeders aren't making, Jared. I think that's the key to this hobby, is getting to the point where you're ahead of the curve of the wave and you're actually surfing on that wave. I think initially, if you use the wave analogy, it's hard work getting up on that board, learning to get up on the board, which is learning how to do everything. Then getting on that board and then trying to find the best wave, and then getting on that wave and riding the wave out and getting on top of it, and then learning to stay on the board when you're on top of that wave, and to use a surfing analogy. And I think the hobby is very much like that, is you start at your level, at your budget, you get yourself confident. Once you know what you're doing on a larger scale, then you can start investing in bigger genetics. And then when you start investing in those bigger genetics, you can then bring things together quite quickly. Whereas a lot of breeders have been around 20 years, it's taken them 20 years to get to that stage, and they're allowing us to buy in. I think it's a great opportunity. Even though the market is a little bit down at the moment, I think it will bounce back and it will get better. But I think the market will expect a higher end genetic and better value for money. And I think it will make the hobby even more thrilling and exciting, because we'll be hitting multi-combo genetics. And I think that's the exciting thing about the hobby, Jared. So even if we are going through a slow period at the moment, stay with it, because long term I think this hobby's got a long way to go yet. And we're getting excited about some of our projects, aren't we, Jared? So I think I was going to finalise with a bit of snake candy. And the snake candy I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out a couple of hatchlings from last year that Jared loves very much. It's the secret exantic that we don't even know which exantic they're carrying. Came out of a clutch of the bamboo and the Mojave Het Ultramel boy, which was carrying bamboo as well. We put the son to the mother and produced these two snakes, and I'm going to bring them out and show you how they're doing. They both recently shed out, Jared. So there we go. We've got here a Mojave exantic. Not sure which exantic it is. It is. They're both. I think they're both 50% het for 66% het for Ultramel as well. So let's have a look at the on here, Jack. Can you see what we've got?
It's the bamboo exantic 50% het Ultramel.
50% het Ultramel. So they're both 50. Now we should really shed test these two, because if they're carrying the exantic and they're carrying the Ultramel, it could be really interesting to see what that's going to produce. Because if we then say, for example, and they're both girls, so we want to hold on to both of them, so coming back to Will's point about holding on to the girls, get them up to size and then proving them out. Now what we've got here is Colt. Now Colt is our initial purchase, it cost us a couple of £1,000. Now if we just bring him out, Joe, I want to bring him out here, show you what we've got here. So this is an example of how we try to get the codoms into our genetic projects. So we've used our original Ultramels to produce these, Jared, over the last 3 or 4 years. This guy we bought about 18 months ago. And if I bring him into here, Jared, you can see him. So I think he's about to go into a shed actually. He's not as bright as he normally is, so he might be going into a shed. But let's just discuss what we can do here now. Because we've got a double visual, if we put him to these two girls when they get big enough, we can produce, let's say for example, the first thing we should do is shed test them to find out if they carry the Ultramel. And let's say they both carry the Ultramel, but there's a 50-50 chance. If we were to put this animal to them, we would end up producing, hopefully, visual Ultramels that will have an exantic het form, because these are both visual exantics. They'll have the Mojave in there, and they'll have the bamboo in there. And therefore what you've got is you're now bringing in codoms into a triple recessive project. You're now creating a triple with potentially 2 or 3 extra codoms coming in. And the nice thing is that the offspring, if they become males, you can then plug them into a double visual female to then bring out the double version, the ultramale pied, that will then be either 50% het for exantic or 100% het for exantic. Again, you can shed test. So this is how you can get your building blocks working. So I think anything that's carrying an ultramale and has bamboo Mojave, but if you look carefully, we've got mocha Mojave ultramales, we've got cinnamon ultramales, we've created lots of different varieties of ultramales which are girls that we can use one boy to plug into to get what we need, a visual ultramale that will carry the pied but also could carry those extra genes in, and then we can feed them into the projects. Now, nowadays on Morph Market you can buy a lot of these animals without having to produce them, because there are quite a few breeders out there that have already caught the vision and are ahead of the game. But you will pay obviously extra money for that, but that could be worthwhile doing. So there's an example of what we can achieve here with the codoms. But as you can see, they are beautiful snakes. You can see this one here is very, very pretty, Jared.
I'll get a normal bamboo so you can contrast.
Yeah.
Actually, I was in the shed.
She's in shed at the moment. But there you go. This is the exantic bamboo. Now the other thing is, we've got to make sure, I think the VPI exantic has already been proven to be a shed test, I believe, Jared. But then the TSK exantic, which is another variety of exantic, is yet to have a shed test completely proven. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for the science to catch up before we can actually do the shed test, because the chances are the exantic, I think, we're hoping will be VPI, because if it's a VPI exantic, the other option we've got is we could bring out another one of our double recessive boys, and every year your girls can give you clutches, so you can put different boys to different girls. If they're carrying the hets and they're carrying the codoms, you then start to feed those codoms into lots of double recessives. So let me bring out an exantic boy. So Thor, again, he's going into shed, but he is a beautiful boy. Now he's carrying VPI exantic, and he is a pied, even though you can't actually see the pied on him because he's got a lot of pattern. There's very, high pattern, there he is. Now can you imagine if these prove out to be VPIs, we can plug this boy into these two girls and we can get bamboo and Mojave into the double recessive project, and that therefore we can then move that forward. Now if we produce a boy that carries bamboo and Mojave, we've got a girl. That's why we like to buy pairs, is that it's good to have a double recessive boy and a double recessive girl with as many codoms as you can, because it will just help further the projects. Now Jared, if you want to get out Sif, who's a double recessive exantic pied girl. There she is, and I think we're going to try and breed with her next season, Jared, if she will take some more food. And she's been a picky eater. She's 3 to 4 years old. We bought her as a hatchling from Europe, and she's just taking a long time to get to size. So this is the frustrating thing. But she is the female. So imagine if we produced a male from the Mojave and the bamboo, and then we plugged that male into her, and they were carrying the VPI exantic. You then got a female that can produce, say, 6 to 8 eggs that will have Mojave and bamboo in, or one or the other, which would then be very useful going forward with further projects. And because it's a pied, and we've got quite a few recessives, we've got the lavender albino pied boy. We've also got another pied boy which is carrying a double visual recessive, but is also carrying 2 extra genes. Now if I bring him out and show you what we could do with this guy. So over here, where we've got 2 double recessive, we've got Tattoo, and we've got
next to on the right.
So both. Right. Now look how beautiful. Now Jared's fixed these drawers. They're really easy to bring out. So this is the Desert Ghost pied boy. Again, we could plug the Desert Ghost pied boy into some of our double recessive girls, and that would then bring the Desert Ghost in. So imagine if we put this boy into Sif, you'd get a visual pied, you'll get het DG, and you'll get het VPI exantic all thrown into the mix. And you could do the same with this one here. This is not a double visual, this is a I think he's DG Het.
It's pastel as well.
Pastel, he's got the pastel in him.
Is this the Het Clown or the Het Pied?
That's the Het Pied, I think. No, it's the Het Clown, I think. Yeah. So then we can get Clown into the mix as well.
We've also got a Clown Pied, which has banana and leopard.
Yeah. So let's just bring him out and just say what can we do with him. Now, that one is called Bingo. So we'll bring him out. Now this could be a really powerful animal. Now this is the benefit of having a male that's already carrying leopard and banana in. Now, the breeder here, which is D, from Regis Brothers, he probably spent a long time in his collection producing the animal, Jared. And there might be as much as 8 or 9 years work there that we picked up last year. If he goes and breeds with us, we've now got the leopard and we've got the banana already in the father. So instead of us making lots of hets or visuals with codoms, which takes 3 or 4 years, if you buy a boy and pay a few extra £1,000 for him to carry those extra genetics, he's already carrying the codoms, and instead of you having to start from scratch and then build every 3 years or so your collection, if he's already got that in there, when you plug him into any of your projects, there's a chance that leopard and banana will pass through to your offspring. So if we put him to the Exantic, for example, Jared, then the Exantic will then have banana and leopard going into it. Or if we put him into the lavender project, you'd end up with banana and leopard going into the lavender project. I think he'd be a good bet for the lavender project as well, Jared. Be interesting to see what that would produce. So hopefully you can see there are different ways about getting to your projects. I think the key for me is to take time and to work out what you love to enjoy working with. Focus on maybe 5 or 6 projects max, or you can focus on one project and be the expert in that one project by giving all your attention to it. That's what a lot of breeders are doing. But I personally, as an artist, like to have as much paint palette as I can to my artistic flair, so that we can then go in and out of lots of genetics. But all these pies that we're producing, all the clowns that we're producing, all the Exantics we're producing, all the ultra males that we're producing, all the hypos that we're producing, we've got the hypo pied as well, we bring them all together eventually and feed them in to magnificent animals in the future. And I just wanted to get that out there, so for any new people coming in or any existing breeders that are kind of thinking through their plans, the key I think is to go in with as many codoms as you can on double recessive projects to start with, and the prices are coming down, so they are affordable. Jared and I will get our snakes on the market, on Morph Market. I know quite a few people are waiting to see what's available. We're going to feed them today. Jared's got the food out up here. There's 60 babies to feed. Once they've fed, I think we'll then sex next week all of the ones that we want to put on Morph Market, get the photography, start uploading, and you're more than welcome to come and see the facility and come and choose your animals. And I think we've got 1 or 2 friends coming down in August to do that, and that'll be a lovely way of coming in and seeing the facility. So I hope that helped. Thank you, Jared, for all your love and support. Don't forget to hit that subscription button if you enjoy the videos. You'll get regular updates. Have a wonderful end to the week, and we shall catch you later on. Bye for now.